Hello everyone, welcome to this Cypress tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn about the assertions in Cypress. So let's begin. There are multiple type of assertions present in Cypress, and in this particular tutorial, we would be only talking about one specific type of assertion. So before we dive into the assertions, let's discuss what are assertions itself. So basically, assertions are nothing just a checkpoints. So you need a checkpoints while you're writing automation skills because we need to ensure that our application is working as per requirements. So whatever the requirements are, our application is working according to those requirements. In Cypress, there are two types of mainly assertions. One are known as BDD style assertions, and the second one is TD style assertions. So BD is basically behavior driven, and they are very just like a native English language type assertions. And in BDD, there are two type of assertions available in Cypress. One is expect, and the other is should. And if we talk about the TD assertions, then we have one which is known as assert. So in this particular tutorial, we will only talk about this should here, and in our upcoming tutorials, we will cover expect and assert type of assertions. So for this particular tutorial, I will be using the Orange HRM demo site, and let me open this one, and also let me go to Visual Studio Code here, and let's create one file here. I'm naming it as should assertion.js. Let me copy a reference line from previous example. Let me copy this one and paste it here. So the first thing we need to do is that we need to use a describe block, and let me name it as BD style assertion, and we need to use a callback function here, and callback function body starts from here. So now inside this describe block, we will be using the it block, and I am naming it as validate orange HRM login page. And again, we need to use a callback function here, and this is a body of this callback function. So the first thing is that we need to open the website using cy.visit, and once we will do that, then we will start working with the should assertions. So let's go here and copy this URL and go back to the Visual Studio Code and open this one and save this one. Now let me open the Cypress test runner npx. Cypress open. It will take some time to open. Meanwhile it get open, let me explain you more about the assertions. So for example, the very first thing on this particular page is that if you notice, I typed only open source demo.orangehrmlive.com, but the URL redirected to this auth/login page. Now the first thing we need to assure that whenever user hits this website, they will land on this login page, and this URL should contain this auth/login. So this is the first thing we need to verify. So let me go back to the Visual Studio Code here, and that's really simple because you will find this a very English native type of assertions. So simply cy.url. So what this will do is that it will get the active or the current URL. Then we need to use should, and simply we need, so we are asking Cypress that our URL, active URL, should include, what should it include? Now we need to provide that thing. So if I go here and let me copy this part /auth/login and go back here and provide this. Now what it will do is that it will go and check either our active URL after redirection should contain r/login, right? So let me save this one, go to the test runner here, and we have this should assertion.js. Open this one, and it will now assert this path. So it will ensure that our URL of the application is correct or not as per the requirement. So you see there's a redirection happening, and it redirected to this particular URL, and our assertion is passed because this particular URLs include /all/login. So if I change here to login one just to show you how assertion fails in the Cypress, so let me show you this one. So here you will see that our assertion will be failed, and it says that it was trying for this particular assertion and it doesn't include login-1, and that's why our assertion fails. Now let me change it back to login. Now what else we can do? Let me go to this page, right click on this one, click on inspect, and go to this head section, and here you will find the title of the page. So now we need to assert that our page title should be orange HRM. So how we can do this? Again, very simple. cy dot title, and once we have a title, what we need is that again should, and here because the title is very small string, so we can use the equal method here. So eq, then what it should be equal to, so this one. So let me save this one and let's run this one again, and you will see that expected orange HRM to equal this one. So our test case is passed now. So this is the very basic, we started with the very basic things. Now the other thing on the login page is that if I talk about login page itself, you will see that we have this heading called login. Now we need to ensure that our page should contain this login here in the h5. So we need to insert this thing. So simply what we need to do is that let me rerun this test, and we will get this thing first, and then we will assert this one using the should. So let me use this one, copy from here, go back here and provide this one. Now again dot should, and here we are comparing with the text. So should have dot, and you see we are getting the different suggestions here. So should have text, and what text we are looking for? So text should be login, and let's save this one and see. So it should find this one, and yes, this particular heading have this login text. And we are talking about a text. In some cases we can also assert using a partial text. So partial text means that if I go here and inspect this one, so this contains password admin : 123, and I need to assert that, I need to verify that this should contains admin 123. So we can also do this very easy way. Simply we will go here and provide this. Now again should, then because now this is a string, long string, so we will be using include what? Include text. And what kind of text we are looking? So text is basically admin 123. That's it. Very simple, very easy to understand. So let's go here and see what happens. So it will go to this page, and yes, we got this assertion passed, and it says that it contains admin 123. Now just like we can do a negate one as well using dot not. So dot not is negating one, and if we talk about this particular line, let's suppose and just giving an example here. So what I'll do is that simply use this one, and here what I will say is that should not contain. So it should not contain, for example, let me give it as login page text. So it should only contains the login. So, or instead of what we say that it should not be logout here. So let's save this one and see what happens, and it should check for this particular one and it should pass. So obviously this particular heading doesn't contain logout. So if you have a test case where you want something which should not be present in terms of the text, then you can use this assertion. Now what else we can do before start typing the username and password. So what I will be doing as automation tester is that I will check either this field is visible. If this field is visible, then start typing the username. Okay, so let me copy this one from here and let me go back here, provide this one, and again dot should and simply should be dot visible, and that's it. Simply save this one and run this one, and here you will also see this, it says expected to be visible and this field is visible, right? In a similar way you can also use visible not to be visible, right? Just like let me change it here, b dot, so you will find a lot of things here. Okay, should be then dot visible, not be visible, have value, contain value, include value. So you will find a lot of assertions here. So let me use this one and see, this time it should fail. So let me go here, and yes, it's failed, and you will see this, we got assertion error. So this assertion error is basically related to this particular assertion because we have found this visible, right? That's why it's trying to be not to be visible, but it's visible. And let me go back here and change this to be visible. So to be visible, that's okay. And now in a similar way, the particular field should exist. So again, let me copy this one from here and let me paste it here, and here it should exist. That's it. Now it will check the existing of this element in the DOM. So yes, this element exists in the DOM. Then what we can do is that we can also check for either the field is enabled or disabled. Okay, so again let me copy this one from here and paste it here, then should be enabled or should be disabled, right? Very easy. Should be dot enabled, and save this one, and let's see, yes, it's enabled. And you can also use this assertion in a very different way, and you can also apply multiple assertions on a single element. For example, if we want to apply multiple assertion on this particular field, then I will use and inside the and I need to provide the another assertion. So here I am using another assertion which actually be doing the same thing here. So let me write it here. So not dot be dot disable. So again, So what I'm saying is that the field should not be disabled. In other words, it means that it should be enabled, right? So let me save this one and see. So it should pass. All the assertions should pass here. Yes, and here you will see that it should be enabled and not to be disabled. And again, in a very similar way, we can put more assertions. For example, if we want to check the CSS of particular element. For example, if we talk about, let's put this button here. So this button has this particular color, right? And it has a property background color. So first thing, we need to verify that this particular element should have a background color property. So that's really easy again. And let me go here, and simply the first thing we need to do is that we need to locate the element. We have located the element, copy this one from here, go here and paste it here. Now simply, so we are talking about the CSS here. So should, in simple way, should have what have CSS, and what CSS property we are looking for is basically a background color. So let me go here. So it's a background color. Let me copy from here and let's paste it here. Now save this one and see what happens. So it should work and it should assert that this property exists or not. And yes, this CSS property exists in this particular element. Now we want to assert that this particular button has this orange color. So usually what happens is that we need to provide this in the form of RGB, right? So I don't know right now what is the RGB of this one. So what I'll do is do that. Let me go here and here, comma, and here what we need to provide is that the RGB. So RGB and RGB have three parameters. So let me type it as, I don't know exact color right now. I'm just randomly typing this one, and definitely it will not match the exact color, but let me show you how this works. And once we will find the exact color, we will use that one. But right now, most probably it will fail. And you see that it's comparing this value, and we got the assertion here. And because we are trying for this property background color value this, but the value was this. Now let me copy this one and let me go back, and here let me change this one. Now save this one and let's see what happens. So now this time this should pass, because at first time we didn't know the exact RGB, but now we know the exact RGB, and that's why it got passed. Now let's talk about one more example here in terms of should, and for that let me open my previous script which I covered in the previous tutorial. So here what we were doing is that we were going to this particular form, and we were working or automating with the checkboxes and the radio buttons. So let me open this URL here, and inside this URL you will find that we have a multiple checkboxes and multiple radio options or radio buttons. Now I need to put an assertion. My target or my test case is that this particular form should have 4 checkboxes, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is my test case which I need to automate here. So this is a bit tricky, but I will make it very easy for you to understand. So what I will do is that I will find all the checkboxes from here, and then I will count those ones. And this is really simple. So let me right click on this one, and if you see that the input type is checkbox. So if I go here and select or inspect any of the checkboxes, you will see that the input type is checkbox. So now it's very easy for me here. So what I'll do is that cy.get, and what I'm getting is that input type is equals to what it should be equals to. It should be equals to checkbox, right? So it will get all the checkboxes for me, right? And then once I have all the checkboxes, then what I will do is that I will use should, and then we have should have dot length. So length will actually calculate the count of this particular checkboxes. And how much we are expecting the length here? We are expecting a 4 here. I have saved this script. Now run this one from the test runner. So this was the previous script, and let it run and see what happens. So it's executing the test body. First test will delete checkboxes, and done. So we have put assertion inside this validate checkboxes, and you see that this assertion has passed because it has a length of 4. If I change it to 3, it will fail now because we have total 4 checkboxes here, and this time it should fail. So there are so many assertions with respect to should, and you should go and explore while typing, just like I was typing have, be. So you will find a lot of assertions here. And furthermore, if you want to know about these assertions, so these are BDD chai assertions, so chai.js, and here you will find these assertions available. So should be a string. If you want something to assert that this particular value is a string, you can do this. Length, property. So there are a lot of things available. You can go and explore this one here. So that's all about this should assertion. In our next tutorial, we will be talking about the other B type assertion, which is expect. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you like our content, then do like, comment, share and subscribe our channel. Once again, thank you so much, and see you in the next tutorial.